Hi guys, gardening on the West Fork, and it's time to up pot my caladiums. And I did a video back in the end of January, 1st of February, about how I had forgotten about my caladium tubers to put them in storage, proper storage. I had the pot of the tubers that had been dried properly beside the box of the shredded paper that they were going to go in, and it never got completed. But I went ahead and soaked the tubers in water for an hour. I read up on that and went ahead and planted them. And look what happened. I had two other pots, which I just checked last week, that weren't germinating and they weren't at this level. And when I took them out of the pot, they had rotted. So they weren't viable plants to proceed with. But these have done even better than what I thought. So if you have tubers, you might even try soaking them in water if you forgot about them and plant them now, because it's not too late. These are definitely warm season plants. These caladiums have been on a heat mat and lights since the time I planted them in the first, I think it was the 1st of February. And they will go, after I up pot them today, on a heat mat and under the lights until the weather gets to their temperature, which they like 70 degrees. What I have found this year, which I've never had, were fungus gnats. I believe they're fungus gnats, but they're a gnat. And so I picked up some little sticky tabs, and you can see they've connected them. The other thing I did last week is I let them dry out completely, which they say can kill the gnats. And I'm going to stick that in that pot.
I'm going to show a picture of the gnat on the little sticky thing.
Okay.
So I get that leaf out of the way, right there.
Yeah. So
and you got these things at Lowe's.
Yeah. And they make bigger ones and small ones, but I put these in their pots. But there were several things you can do for these gnats. Let the pot dry out, which they say can kill the gnats. Once it dried out, it said you can use, I think Laura said put cinnamon on top, and there is cinnamon. So I put cinnamon on top, and then I put the gnat strips because I don't want gnats anywhere. I haven't noticed what I saw 3 weeks ago.
Not at all.
Number of gnats. No. So whatever we've done, and I wish I could say it was one or all, but I did one or all. So what I'm doing today is I'm taking these out of their pots, and I'm going to put them individual pots so they can grow on for the summer, because these are now 4 years old, and I want them down in my garden or in pots wherever I can get them. So I'm going to take them out of their pots, and they have a really nice root system on them. You can see that. And I'm going to separate these out and get them into individual pots.
And there's the cinnamon on top.
And it smells really nice too. So it's a real pleasant process. This looks to be one plant right here. So I'm going to get it into its own little pot and let it grow on. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
it looks nice. So I'm going to put that right in here. And this is wet potting soil. Again, just where it makes a clump. I'm putting them into their own little pots. Put that on top. I'm going to add a little more soil. And I am fertilizing these with full strength liquid fertilizer. And I use Miracle Grow. And just follow the instructions on whatever you're using. Mine is a gallon jug. I think it's a tablespoon. So that's planted up. Same thing here. I think this is just one tuber, maybe. Yep.
Yeah.
It is one tuber. It's going to go in a pot of its own and get those potted up. This is just so wonderful to know that I was just going to buy more if these didn't come back. But now I know that if you just soak a dried tuber in water for an hour, if you forgot about something, as we all do, end of season, early season, don't fret. Try it. You're out only time. And this is how easy it is to up pot. It's been fun watching them grow and to see these. Now it took them, gosh, I put them out February. It was probably 3 weeks before 3 to 4 weeks before I saw any growth at all. And you just have to be hopeful. It's like my Liatris seedlings.
But they sure look healthy.
They look good. This one's going to go in a pot by itself. So things can take a long time. Patience, it's a virtue. Which maybe
You don't get me started on that.
I know. Anyhow, but it's so fun to do in the winter. I had never, I keep saying this probably on every seedling and planting seed video, I never did seeds. I think it was a time factor. Now I have a little more time, but it's so fun to do in the winter. To just go downstairs, look and see what's happening, try new things like the geraniums, which was really successful. I might become just a geranium planter. I just planted that one, just planted that one.
You want me to keep track for you, honey?
Keep track. I only have 4 pots. How hard is it, Teresa?
Oh, that looks healthy too.
Yeah, this does. And so this is how you, and if you're a frugal gardener like I am, it doesn't take much time to just dig your caladiums up, dry them out.
I remember we were on a road trip to Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah.
We stopped by that Tri-County Market there at the whatever it was called.
Yes.
And these were actually on sale that day, remember?
I know. That was such a good market.
Yeah. And so we bought those probably 4 years ago.
I know. And we still have them. As long as I don't forget to plant them. Now I will get my cinnamon back out, put that along the soil. These don't like to be real wet either. These plants like to dry out between watering. And since this is moist and the roots were moist because I watered them before I was getting ready to pot them up this morning, I'll let them dry out. They won't get watered on Monday. And they will get their cinnamon put on their top of their soil. And those little flags will go back in so we can prevent that gnat problem, which I'd never had before. Maybe because my plants never really grew that well. Who knows? But anyhow, this has been another easy project. But these will go back downstairs on the heat mat under the lights. And they're also on 12 hours of light per day. And, you know, it's just a great, you know, I'm glad I've got this passion. You know, Reggie has his art passion. We're weird that way, or quirky, but how lucky are we to have something to keep us so intrigued. I hope I have a good chance to go to Longwood Gardens this April with a couple girlfriends. They invited me. I've never been in Philadelphia. Won't that be fun? It's hard to tell what I'll come back with. But anyhow, this is Gardening on the West Fork, up potting my
Now,
caladiums.
where are these going back?
These are going back downstairs
Right.
on the heat mat.
Right.
Your caladiums have to be on the heat mat because they're tropical plants, and so they need that constant temperature. The geraniums do not need to be on a heat mat. Any seedlings, if they're liatrices that I'm starting, my winter sown plants out there are covered in snow.
Yeah.
But they have germinated. Some of those have germinated. But any tropical plant like your caladiums, you need to keep on a heat mat and under lights. And that's where these are going to go back, and they'll be kept nice and healthy until we can get them out, hopefully the end of May, 1st of June. So thanks for watching Gardening on the West Fork, up potting the caladiums. We'll see you in the next one.